Drone fishing, love it or hate it, it is here to stay, guys. I have been dabbling with drones for about a year now. I've played with this beast over and over again. This is the Swell Pro Fisherman Max. This is the absolute like Ford Chevy of drones. This thing will drop up to 8 pounds of bait, guys. This thing is a monster. Completely sealed, completely waterproof, nice 4K camera on it. It is a monster, and a lot of times out there, guys, I don't need all this. So I found the Aeroo Pro out of Sydney, Australia. This is more my speed, guys, for the light action fishing. I'm not a big shark guy. If you guys have followed along the channel, you guys know that. I will target them here and there over the summer, running guides for clients. We get a lot of out-of-towners in the summer, guys, that have never saltwater fished, and the first thing they want to do is catch a shark. So mainly I target black tips up close. And there's been many a times out there where I know the fish are deep and I just don't want to deal with that big monster. If you're shark fishing and that's what you do, this is the drone for you. There's not another one on the market that's going to beat it. But if you're like me and just want to get like some pompano rigs out deeper, this is the one for you, guys. Max payload on this guy is 2 pounds, which is a lot for pompano fishing. Very user friendly, like right out of the box, it's ready to go. You don't have to put on blades, you don't have to extend arms and screw them in. You pull it out, pop the battery in, turn it on, and zoom, zoom. And I'm setting up for a little outing tomorrow morning, so I started making some drone rigs for pompano fishing. Pompano and drum. I thought this would be a cool little tip video for you guys. So I'm gonna show you guys how I'm making these rigs that if disaster does happen, I'm not gonna lose my drone. I think the biggest fear with any drone fisherman is losing that machine. They ain't cheap. And every time I have flown my Swell Pro over the Gulf of Mexico, am I supposed to say Mexico? Every time I get that gut-wrenching feeling like, is it gonna come back or is it gonna take a dive bomb? I'm gonna lose it. Like, I'm not gonna swim out there and get it, guys. So for a drone to be like waterproof, 100% waterproof, we're paying an extra $1,000 for a waterproof drone. It's kind of a false sense of security to me. Like, drones aren't meant to go in water. They're an aircraft. So to pay so much more money to have this waterproof drone, like, is it really worth it? Or is it just kind of giving us a false sense of security? I can tell you right now, guys, if that drone fails and dumps in the water and it's out there past that second sandbar, like, hell, maybe even the first sandbar, I ain't swimming. I have pulled in too many questionable species out of the Gulf to get in there and go start tromping around, especially when I got a big hunk of bait out there floating. So if that drone hits the water, it's gone. So paying all that extra money for a waterproof drone doesn't really do me justice. And another fear, and this has happened to me twice, where that line has got tangled during the drop and it jerks my drone around. Luckily, both times it happened like really close to shore, basically during liftoff. But if you're zooming that guy out there and you get a big knot in the line, which is very possible, and that line gets caught, it is gonna jerk that drone right back down into the water. So there's a rig that I tied that if that does happen, it's not gonna take my drone. Let me get my gloves off here so I can tie this guy up for you. And I'll try to go slow, I'll try to get some good camera angles and explain exactly what I'm doing. First things first is we need us a good split ring. There's some bird of praise right there, 7mm. Get us a split ring and then 3 barrel swivels. And what we're gonna do is just add all these barrel swivels to this split ring. I am gonna be targeting smaller, more finicky fish. So I'm gonna try to use the smallest of terminal that I can. So my split ring's very small and these barrel swivels are tiny. And they're hard to work with. They're hard to work with a camera in your face too. And I got this tip from Aeroo Pro, but they were using 3-way swivels. And I don't have a 3-way swivel, so we're gonna make one. So now we have our 3 barrel swivels all attached to that split ring. So my first piece of leader I wanna put on here, I want it about 2 foot, guys, and I want it fairly strong, nothing over the top. And I'm gonna be fishing some deeper water, and this line, this will not have bait on it or anything like that. This is what's actually gonna attach to the drone. So what you have to think about is you are gonna have like this extra piece of line just kind of floating around out there. So what I'm gonna try to do is try to blend it in as much as possible. This is gonna be floating around out there by our bait. And again, we're dealing with finicky fish. This isn't like we're dropping hunks of meat out there for sharks where those guys are gonna bite anything. You can throw a piece of wire out there, it doesn't matter. We're after the pompano, baby. So I am gonna use the Grassline Perdido leader. This is 27 pound. I feel that's a little thick. I'm gonna drop it down and I'm just gonna go with some regular 20 here. So I'm gonna get me about 2 foot off. Doesn't have to be exact. And we're gonna tie one into it to our homemade 3-way swivel there. Doesn't matter which barrel swivel. Get that guy cinched down. And that is our first piece. Now we're gonna tie a pompano rig. There's gonna be one difference in this pompano rig, and I'll show you in a second. I'm gonna go with some 18 pound. I'm gonna go with that sand color Perdido leader. And I am gonna tie a double drop. I fish a lot of single drops when I'm casting because I trust my bait placement. It gives me a bit longer of a cast because I've cut down on drag. Helps me save bait, but because we're drone dropping, the casting distance isn't an issue. And I'm dropping in deeper water, so I want to be able to cover more zones in the water column. I am using the Bird of Prey rig board here. Absolutely love this thing. If you're into tying pompano rigs, I strongly suggest this product if you don't already have one, or if you're looking to get into this. And I actually have a video on how to use this board, a step-by-step tutorial, and I'll link that video here also. And I'm gonna leave a little bit extra on this back end, and I'll show you why in a second. So there we have it, guys. Double drop, pompano rig, 18 pounds, Perdido leader, the sand color. And now we're gonna add our jewelry, whatever we want. I'm gonna go with some, what do I wanna go with? I got some white floats out there tied up already, some rattles, some gold. I'm gonna drop a couple gold and orange float hooks on there. Way I'm giving them a couple different things to look at. Now we're gonna tie on a clip for our weight, and we are gonna skip the barrel swivel on this rig. Shout out to Submerse Outdoors for sending me this hoodie. Submerse will send me clothes here and there. I never even know it's coming. It just shows up in the mailbox. Maddie, my wife, does all his designs. So she did this cool sheep's head design a while back. And he sent me this hoodie the other day. I love his stuff. He has great material. So there we have it. There's our pompano rig, weight clip on one end, naked on the other. So now we're gonna go back to our leader line again with the 3-way bootleg swivel on there. And we're gonna tie it to another one of those barrel swivels. Again, it doesn't matter which one. Let me go grab the main ingredient and show you guys how to finish this thing up. This is the Aeroo safety clip. 3 of these come with the drone, but if you just want to buy these clips, you can buy like 10 of them for 20 bucks. Go to aeroo.com to find these under accessories and pick you up a bundle of them. One end looks like that, and the other end has a little nipple on it. They include some attachments for these. They're like bait clips, and they also include a payload attachment cable. But going back to what I was saying, like it's very thick, it's very black, it's very noticeable. So I don't want to use that for pompano fishing. I mean, it's gonna they're gonna see it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking their same design and just scaling it down. So find you a key ring, something like that you can attach to that nipple and run that guy in there. And this is what's gonna attach to the drone. That key ring will be in that payload mechanism. And then with our camouflage line, this was the first line that we put on the naked end of it, I'm gonna tie another little weight clamp here. So what's gonna happen is now this weight clamp is gonna stick in to the end of this clip like so. And then what we're gonna do with our remaining barrel swivel on our 3-way is that's gonna go to the main line. Take one of our rods here. Got a nice Carolina rig on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Find our final barrel swivel and go ahead and get it all put together. Find us a weight, because remember we have our weight clamp on the end of our actual pompano rig. So that's where our weight's gonna go. So now you have your rig with your weight going up to that barrel swivel, to your main line. Then you have this drone leader that kicks out the side. And with your Aeroo Pro here, then you got your payload right here, which that key ring will attach into. So what this is gonna accomplish is if you get hung up on something because your drone's inside here. If you get hung up on something and there's tension, that guy's gonna pop out. Now your drone is free and is gonna zoom back to shore. All right, guys. Let's zoom one out there and see if these rigs are gonna work like I think they are. I'll go ahead and get this guy set up. We'll check back in a second. I'm on a big bank here, so I've come to the top of it just to get this guy on flat surface. Attach my little safety clip here. And then this guy goes on the bottom of the drone. Press that little button there. That opens and closes him. There he is. He is locked in. And get that line out in front. And let's get some bait on. All right, leader looks like it's working. Dropping payload. Return home. There she is. Bada boom. This thing is sweet, guys. I am impressed. So there's even a feature with the video recording that you can record in vertical, right? So that's a great option for content creators, so they can record reels and horizontal format. That might not be a big deal to a lot of y'all, but for us guys, that's huge. Also, what I've done for this adventure is I've switched over to my 5s and 6,000 PC Fun Nautics, and you can see I got braid all day after that long drop. These reels are so inexpensive, guys. It's not that disrupting to buy a few extra reels and put different size braids on. I've asked about buying just spools, and they're not to that level yet. They are still a relatively very small company. But again, for under $100, I can afford to pick up a few extras. That way I have some 5,000s with like 15 pound for casting, and I have some 5,000s with 30. Whew, there's your clip. Got our clip back. The bait has not been touched. Where are these guys at? I cannot believe, I mean, nothing. No nibbles, no crab. It's been out there a half an hour. So the rig worked. That was the mission today, to see if those rigs were gonna do what I thought they were gonna do. And it did. Again, I give all credit to Aeroo Pro because they suggest that style of rig. They actually give you components to make it, but it's big stuff. I didn't want to use big stuff, so I just basically followed their design and made the rig myself. That'll definitely give you a peace of mind, guys, if you're fishing around a beach that has a lot of debris in it, rocks, even birds. So if a bird happened to fly into that line, that will drag your drone down. So with that release clip, any tension that drone feels, it's gonna pop that line out, and then that drone will be free. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. I am getting out of here. I got a lunch date with the family. The Aeroo Pro, great little drone, guys. Look how small that thing is. And if you were wondering how to tie those leaders for drone drops, that's a good way to do it. There are tons of ways to do it. There might be better ways to do it, but that's what's working for me. I did a total of 4 drops this morning and nothing got tangled up. Everything went smoothly. And really, that is the ultimate goal with drone drops, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, or it doesn't have to be the way somebody else does it. As long as you can get them out there and get that drone back without disaster, it's a win. Again, this is no partnership, anything like that. I do not make any money off of these guys. They do not make any money off of me. But if you would like to go check these out, I will leave a link in the description. Until next time, beach anglers.